All right,
Okay,
we're live.
okay, we'll reconvene here. Let's go to the prosecutor. We'll go to the health department when Bill Van Wy gets back. We're going to the prosecutor next, Bob.
So questions about the full-time deputy.
And we added them to health insurance in that this year, didn't we?
Correct.
And then there's considerable jump for the full-time deputy there. Do we know?
It's not statutory or anything where it has to be 80% of.
Okay, which line item were you talking about?
It is,
Oh, the 11,272?
yeah.
Correct.
Let me think about that. Because I know that it was reflecting a transfer that they did because they didn't have
Considerable.
what, I know, but it really wasn't, it was more, I'm trying to get to my current,
Is this position filled at all?
I'm looking.
Almost looks like it went part-time.
Okay, so they just now are, like, August 22nd was the first payroll that would have come out of this account because they just now got the full-time person hired. So originally, it was $83,000 appropriated, but since they didn't have a full-time person in there the entire time, they had transferred, let's see, for 49,000 to other service fees so that they could pay for that new software thing that the Axon. Yeah. So there really wasn't an increase, but I had shown the transfers. And maybe I shouldn't have, but I did.
That one is now filled.
Now filled, yes. But last year, they really requested and it was approved for 83,000. Yeah.
So is that something that we can cut because it doesn't need to be in there, or we do need to leave it in there, the transfer, wherever you said you included?
No, that position's now filled.
It's filled now.
Okay.
It's filled now. But that's
They
the
had
reason.
They had approved 83, we transferred 50,000 or something because he didn't have it filled, so we had an opportunity to make a move on
Correct.
some technology things.
Remember
All that
the
was available.
Axon things?
Oh, he just pulled it and used it for that.
It was the Axon, like to download like videos and all that stuff.
So this number is not reflective of what was budgeted last year, but what was left in the budget after the transfer.
Yeah, because I had entered the transfers and I probably shouldn't.
Yep.
Those are,
11,272.
why that salary? Also, deputy,
So they're paying 52,000.
The state.
The new hire documents from prosecutor office, their salary is 52,000.
I was looking at
Correct.
Compared to some of the others, I don't want to say any names.
Well, the others say deputy, prosecuting deputy, deputy, this is chief deputy, so is their position?
No, it's the
Different?
line above chief deputy.
Oh, well, yes, I see what you're saying, yes,
So,
yes. I'm sorry.
correct. Yes.
But we can't cut that difference out.
I will have to see if I can ask him, I don't know.
Between 52 and 83.
You say that position is filled now?
Just now, yeah.
Why was I'm sorry. So you're saying that it should not be 83, it's really 52 is their salary, but
They requested 83 last year and this year because they were having difficulty getting somebody to even apply for the position.
That
So,
was before we gave them benefits.
and even after, but yeah. And,
That
but
position had been open since December of 2023 because
they couldn't get anybody.
we couldn't get anybody to fill it.
I have no idea.
I don't remember. Could be.
Yeah, Neil spoke about it.
It might even be too early for that. And then if they pass the bar, they will stay in the county. Whether it's that one, I don't know.
I'm gonna see if I can ask him.
The, that's exactly what happened with the current chief deputy. He was brought in right after graduating and as an intern and stayed on through, I don't know, 6, 7 years now.
That salary
Which
I
one?
do know that,
I was just looking at.
it has been, and who knows what's gonna happen next year, but it's gonna be talked about at the legislature again. The Prosecutors Council has already put out a recommended salary for deputies, which is much higher than what we're paying. But they're also proposing a program just like the public defender, where we would receive a percentage back from the state for that office. That's failed in 2 different sessions now, but it will get brought up again. Probably will not pass in '26, but it hopefully will pass in '27. And the only reason it won't pass in '26 is because they won't break the budget for that. That'll have to wait until the next budget session.
Anybody else have any questions on the prosecutor? Everybody good? Amy, you good? Okay,
I will see if I get an answer from anybody. Yeah.
okay, let's look at the public defender next.
And what this doesn't reflect is we are part of the reimbursement trial for misdemeanor. So we'll be getting at least 40% of the misdemeanor expenses back, which probably is only the attorneys, because I imagine they've already been paying the portion, the rent and all these other supplies. Probably pretty much been getting that money back.
Any further discussion on the public defender?
Really, the big change is the cloud storage for contractual services.
which is also the Axon.
Right, the reduction. Cost, yep. Uh-huh. Right.
Any further discussion on this one? Okay, let's move on to the sheriff.
Is there just one part-time person in that spot right there, or, you know?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, there's multiple different, job, what I want to say, names,
Okay,
paid out of that same
gotcha.
account. Let me see.
Okay, I just don't, nope, it's fine, I just wanted to, I was like, wow, that's a lot of money for a one part-time.
No, they pay multiple things out of
Okay.
there.
I need to know, thank you.
They have like sheriff, jail, part-time officer, sheriff, jail, part-time, non-officer, evidence officer, part-time, like those are just a couple that are on here.
And altogether, that 57 covers all of them.
So for instance, the last payroll that we did, there is a part-time deputy, the animal control officer, two just says part-time, and then a part-time chaplain.
In this year's budget, where are we taking the majority of the pension?
In 25, give me one hot second.
Safety lit?
Yes,
So that 695 will come out of this, be moved to public safety lit for 26?
that was one of my cuts that I suggested. So yeah, I have that coming out.
So that clears that much money from general.
But again, that is already figured in my stuff. Okay.
Recalculated.
Yep.
I will say about the jail, and I've been trying to monitor this because of another issue that, or multiple counties are having the same issue. My last note from the sheriff, state of Indiana still owes us, as of today, $177,000 in, our boarding prisoners that they haven't taken to DOC yet. So that did come down from 180-some thousand, but every single county in the state's going through the same thing. And we were promised in the Ways and Means Committee hearing in the last legislature that money would get paid. And it's still hanging out there.
Do you have that in writing?
No, but I've got it on video.
Okay, that's good.
Well, and the question is, you know, it's understandable. I mean, they can't take a prisoner until there's a spot in one of the prisons for them. But nobody knows, how do they decide who goes? Who do they pick up and take to the prison? Is it who's ever been in the jail the longest? Is it who's ever closest to the prison they're going to? Is it whoever is the favorite? You know, whoever screams the loudest, that you owe us a lot of money?
Crowded.
I mean, nobody knows what the standard is to get them out of the jail and move to the prisons. So, and this rate did go up this year from 35,000 to 40, $35 a day to 40 something. I don't remember what that actual number was, but the daily rate that we're supposedly being paid, even though I think it calculated, the Sheriff's Association, I think, calculated the average daily rate should be somewhere in the $80 range. Now gonna get 40.
You know, one thing that amazes me, there's a shortage of beds in prison, and where all the counties are being forced to build a new one. But yet, you can find 3,000 empty beds down at Peru for ICE, 1,500 here, and 2,000 here, and this, and this, and this. And here's all these empty beds that pop up,
Yep.
but yet we're being forced to build new.
Yeah, I mean, and, you know, now the untried people have always been the larger number of people in our jail. But we still have an average of about 30 to 35, 36 in there every day that are convicted. Now, not all of them are gonna be transferred out somewhere else, but there's still, you know, those are the ones we really need to take care of. But we also need to, you know, those that aren't convicted, I think we owe a special concern to, because they have not been they've been arrested, they've just not been convicted of anything. So, and we're going against, you know, cashless bail now, which I agree with, but that's going to keep more people in there longer.
Any questions on this? Anybody else have any questions on the sheriff? Not trying to rush you along, so take
Yeah,
your time.
Kind of looking through your, I'm sure. The Butler PD contract pay does Butler not pay county for them, those guys being up there? I know that.
Yeah, Butler pays us, but we have to be able to pay it to our deputies. So that's why there's a line item in the sheriff's budget so that we can pay it out. But yes, they do pay us.
Are they looking to fill these?
Well, some of them might not be open anymore. When they submitted it, and I updated a few because some people like moved around positions, but they could be filled now, and I didn't update it. Okay. As far as I'm aware, one of the office or administrative assistant, one of the office ladies has taken on the money part of it. I'm not sure who deals with the commissary, like handing the stuff out, but that has been empty since the end of June.
Pika said that, Pika said there's 3 open road spots they're doing right now and 1 open jail spot.
Regarding the
Right, dude.
medical, and they're at the bottom of that second page. 22490, an increase there, and then when you flip the page over, a little bit of an increase there. Can you just help me separate? It looks like they're all medical supplies. Differences there, and what was the increase for?
Okay, so on the, this is why I probably shouldn't have adjusted for transfers. So on the 22490, the institutional medical supplies, that would be the contract with the, oh, it did increase, I'm sorry. So the 27,000 is correct for this year. It did increase because the quality correctional care contract, which is the medical providers that come in, they are now paying for inmate medicine, so that is included in our price now instead of us paying it separately. So that's why that increased there. And then what was, then the next one?
As you turn the page over then,
Okay.
and it's 32,800, the medical fees, that also went up. Is that,
It's also part of the QCC, yeah,
That's the people, the nurses and the doctor.
so that's that account starts with a 3, so that is where we're paying for them to do us a service. The other part is when we need to pay for supplies that they require or need or use.
so are you, Rick, are you saying that those are just 2 people?
Oh, God, no.
No.
No, oh no.
Okay.
No, that's a whole raft of people.
Okay,
That company serves probably the majority of the jails in this area. And they now have more control over medicine being distributed, so it's not just a jailer, it's not,
Right.
that's,
They're doing the on-site stuff
yeah.
as opposed to people that get hauled out to ER.
Yeah,
got it.
absolutely. And quite honestly, this is a better deal for us. We took on this contract a number of years ago because we used to have a local doctor that did this, and it was extremely expensive. The amount of time and stuff. These guys are, I don't want to say they don't short anybody, but they're better attuned to the population that they're serving than what the others were.
Sure.
So,
For sure.
So their meds are being regulated better, probably.
definitely with the way it's been distributed now. Well, and that's the other thing we're paying, if they're, I don't know what we were paying for the medicines before, quite honestly, but you have a whole raft of medication types that you could be giving in there for a lot of different chronic diseases, and so it can get rather expensive.
Okay, that makes sense.
The school pays some of it, but we still pay all of it from the county budget. Yeah, so you're gonna see the full amount in his budget because we have to pay it.
You know what that percentage is? I mean,
I can tell you.
rough number.
Just a second.
I know we've said it before, I just don't have it locked in my memory.
I don't either, that's why I gotta look. So Garrett, Kaiser, Butler, I'm trying to think if this is half. In July, they paid 60,500 because they're able to pay it in 2 installments. I think that was the second half. And then, I'm sorry, March, the DeKalb Central paid the second half of their 24-25 school, and that was 68,472. So they pay that twice a year.
Amy, is your mic on?
So you're saying they're paying that amount twice a year? That's covering salary, resources,
Benefits, yeah.
benefits,
And then they also
package.
pay a little bit more, for some of it, like $1,000 goes into, for the K-9, for the dogs. And then, some of it goes into the school resource officer fund, which they use for anything that those officers might need, or things to do with their vehicles, or things like
Right.
that.
I'm glad those guys are there.
Okay, so Tika just said that Garrett does pay 55,000 a year. They have 1 SRO. DeKalb is the double, I think, because they have 2 SRO officers, so that's why theirs is so much more.
And they cover
A lot of places.
high school, middle school, and not Country Meadow, but Waterloo. I just got that
It
list.
might-
I just got that list the other day,
It might be Country Meadow.
because I know it's one of the elementary schools.
It's one of those. And then Auburn does the Auburn elementaries and McKinney and.
So Garrett pays once a year, 55,000. DeKalb Central pays twice a year at 68,472. Okay.
They have multiple officers, you know.
Yeah.
Right. I had written down one time, I thought, well, that's
And
only
Rick-
13,000.
He said it is Waterloo and Country Meadow.
Country Meadow.
Thank you.
Both of them?
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be the other 2 out of the 4.
I'm sorry?
That would be the other 2 out of the 4 elementary schools. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Auburn's the
Does the
McKinney
Auburn's, yeah.
and J.R. Watson.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Butler doesn't have anything, they have an SRO?
They,
Yeah, they have,
That's Rick Short.
At the high school, Rick Short, high school and middle school,
they
junior high.
do.
I don't know if there's anybody on site though at Butler Elementary or Riverdale.
If
Butler
it would
is
be.
Rick Short.
Yeah, that's at East Side High School and junior high.
Oh, I'm
He
sorry.
may do the whole system, who knows? But
Yeah.
he is the one in the east side.
I believe they pay 55,000 also, because they just have the one.
They cover a significant amount of that.
Yeah. Yeah, of what they make, yeah.
Yep, it's good.
Just their exposure in those sectors are good to have a full-time sheriff's department person in Butler on a daily basis. They can react to more than just what happens inside the school, but anything that happens outside the corridor of the school, a pretty rapid
But
fashion.
they have part-time deputies that go for DeKalb Eastern, and then Rick Short's the full-time.
Right. Did you say there are part-time? So that probably covers elementary and Riverdale at some point. I know in a conversation with Rick, they're pretty full-time and then takes the summer windows to sneak in his vacation.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, I was just with him recently, and he was trying to wrap up some of his vacation before the students come back on campus.
Love him. His kids love him.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, and he loves that.
Any other questions on the sheriff's department?
I'm assuming that the ammunition increase was probably due to price,
I
a good portion of it.
would assume.
I think he said that. Like he, his presentation, that he said was just price.
We certainly saw that during COVID, the price increase, but in some cases, they didn't drop back as the. I'm having a hard time finding that $18 box of 9mm like I used to be able to.
How many vehicles they got replaced? 8. Turn it on. Okay, if I can read this. Is the care of inmates that decreased 37,000 to increase in gasoline, protein? Yeah, is that because we're not transferring as many inmates, you know, Susan?
We don't always need all that money, but you never know, like, there's no idea of what you're gonna need. So generally, they kept it at the higher amount. And then throughout the year, they are able to do some transfers if they need it without additionals, because there is just really no way to tell how much we have to pay.
We bought new vests last year, didn't we? New vests. That increased.
I don't remember. I mean, we've bought them relatively recent, but I don't know if it was last year. Which line item are you looking at? Oh, right here it says decrease 72,450, 2025 vests. So they bought vests in 2025.
Oh, they bought this year.
So that, yeah, the notes say that. You can't use them, because the stuff in it will deteriorate and it won't stop the bullets.
Wasn't going out
Oh.
Community corrections talked about that.
Thank you, ladies. Glad you informed me. Are they like a life cycle of 2 to 3 years?
I'm almost thinking 3.
It's longer.
I don't know.
There is a life cycle.
There is a life cycle, but I'm not sure.
They using all their overtime, break time, since they have overtime pay, since they not quite full, but basically full.
I can look and see where they're at so far.
In other words, they got
So right now, they're part-time, they are using the overtime, they have only used like 8% of it so far.
8%.
No, they have 8% left, I'm sorry.
And that's,
So they've, yeah, and we're September, so I'm sure they're gonna have to transfer into that.
what is the part-time?
Nah, we already talked about this. That is for
You never-
part-time officers or the animal control officer or jailers, anything that pays out of that account, so multiple different ones. The chaplain, I mean, yeah. It's all right.
Tika said she's not best, but it looks like 5 years. Thinking she's not 100% on the answer, but top 5 years on the best is what she.
And then they replace them all at one time, right?
According to AI, it says that typically they are marked for a 5-year warranty and a manufacturer's recommendation.
Five opens.
Oh, in from 2025? Yeah,
They don't,
but I have a estimate of unspent appropriations in my figures.
Oh, thanks, Rick.
Eric? That it for sheriff?
Anybody else on the sheriff? Okay, let's go back to the health department. And we left off on these 15 groups here about funding for that. And maybe to move things along just a little bit, Bob Kraft had a suggestion, Bill, and we'll throw it out.
It's his idea.
What's that?
It's his idea.
His idea, okay.
but it was ours. We were discussing it when we walked out.
Yeah, to do a flat amount and let Cheryl pick what she wants to give, because she's more informed about what are the most important needs health-wise in the county, and also she knows who performed well in the partnership before and who didn't.
So can I let you know what Alyssa replied to me? Okay, she said, with our HFI funding, our incentives are where a large chunk of our money goes for schools. This helps provide supplies, coats, underwear, feminine products, hygiene supplies, etc., to school nurses to distribute to kids in need. Nurses also can go to conferences for educational opportunities. This is huge as they get to learn best practices and new regulations within school nursing. These funds are available to all schools, but each school is given a budget based on the number of students each school has. We also have a fund that covers mental health appointment costs for school-aged children. This is something we have just started funding in 2025, but it is not something we were planning or being able to cover in 2026. Also, schools benefit from our school liaison. She is a great resource to any of the nurses and provides training, opportunities, and education throughout the county schools. Then I asked about the
Is that all
one
stuff
that's,
that is covered already with the stuff she has in her budget?
for the HFI in 2025.
Oh, not in 26.
Then I asked her about the one was specific to Garrett, about the testing or whatever that one said. Yeah. She said Garrett is receiving funding to help employ a nurse practitioner from Parkview to run a virtual clinic for students. They do assessments and tests on kids to help determine if they need treatment. This allows kids to miss less school and helps parents out, so they aren't running all over creation trying to get the kids to doctor and pick up scripts. It's been a very successful program.
That actually, I know what it is, that actually started out as a physician clinic that was actually in that school, because it was one of our hospital physicians. And they had a school nurse that was that part of it. And then when Brett left, they probably went virtual, because the doctor that was actually physically there left the county and went to Florida, moved to Florida. And I think they're talking about students, but that was also open to their staff when the physical doctor was there.
She also said, she said, I can't, because I asked her, like, prior to HFI funding, what they did. She said, I can't speak too well on what was happening before HFI, but I do know that we provided lice treatments to schools yearly out of their 1159 budget. That is something we have not been budgeting since HFI because it fits in the school incentive line item. I also believe there were instances where we provided vaccination opportunities within the schools, but since COVID, that is something we do not do anymore.
I'd be interested to hear what the council members think about Bill's idea of declaring X amount of dollars and letting Cheryl divide it up amongst these 15 year, because obviously she knows a whole lot more about it than we do.
And it would get directed to those places that have actually been functioning and functioning well. Or what we decide, you're right, what we decide might not hit that mark. So what's the dollar amount that we're talking about?
Right.
I'd like, well, Justin, everything, I'd like this to shoot for 250,000.
Open for discussion. Amy?
I'm stunned. I need to take a minute to catch my breath. We just had to raise taxes on taxpayers to pay for roads, and we could have used that. You're talking about $250,000. Again, I will say, Rick Collins brought up a great point of that the schools, these different agencies, they were functioning without these dollars. They had the windfall. The health department, or the state of Indiana, gave us these dollars to dole out. We did so. Now those dollars aren't there anymore. We said as a council, if these dollars go away, we're not going to be able to fund it. And I keep coming back to the statements have been made here. This is going to be the hardest budgeting year we've had, and we don't have the money. And these are things that we need to let other people in our community handle so that we can handle the other things that the council and the county is responsible for. We can't do everything. Again, great programs, I'm sure they're wonderful. I just don't agree. This isn't the way to spend these dollars.
Well, I would just, I'd just repeat what I said earlier today. As a council, we are responsible, or at least partially responsible for the health and well-being of our citizens. And the whole health program that the state started was started when the need was demonstrated. And I think that we should help continue this. Yes, I want the state to come back and put in more. I don't know if I can go to $250,000, but I do think that we need to address this, especially when it comes to the schools, the students, and the health of our citizens there. What I would like to suggest is that we put in the $200,000 that Bill is talking about. Once we get finished with the budget, then we can come back and look and see where we need to cut, if we need to cut more. See what it does to the bottom line before we make a hard and fast decision. And until all the numbers are put together in one package and we see the bottom line, we don't know if it helps, hurts, or otherwise. So we'll have another bite at this apple to cut it back even more if that's necessary.
I have it highlighted to come back to.
You prepared to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we put this in the budget at $200,000 until we see the final numbers.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor of putting $200,000 in the budget here for the health department for this group of programs here to be determined by Cheryl, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Aye.
No.
Okay. Amy and Amy, 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Motion is carried with the idea that we come back and look at the end of the budget. Okay, moving on.
Okay, I want to go back to prosecutor.
Okay,
So the account 11272, that, the 83,000 does need to stay because that is the intern that took her bar and they don't have her bar results back yet. But once, I mean, assuming she passes it, once she passes it, that 83,000 is the rate that she will be paid per the state.
That will be her salary.
And then I asked about the other attorney, 124 above there, since theirs is not 83,000, and that is because they are the part-time attorneys, not a full-time, where that 83,000 would be a full-time attorney.
So the other one's part-time at the
So like the
57s.
second, third, and fourth
Yep.
line, yeah, those, the 57, 59s, those are, because they're part-time and they're not a
Part-time
full-time
attorneys.
attorney.
Is Weber
And I think you
full-time?
guys voted, I wasn't here last year to vote on the budget, but I think that was when we gave them benefits as well.
Correct. Yep, they gave them benefits, and that's paid out of the commissioner's budget.
Yep. Okay.
Weber is part-time.
Yeah, I looked at the number wrong. Okay.
we good, Susan?
Yeah, I just wanted you to know that it needs to stay.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the treasurer. Next,
We're skip. Okay,
Frazier.
okay.
Actually, we see a slight overall decrease, about $200 and change.
A lot of that was equipment, furnitures, and pictures. A lot of decrease there. There's the decrease in other service fees. Increase in postage, but that's understandable. Going way up.
Yeah. Two people. Not necessarily, but
Does anybody have any questions for Joni back here?
My only question maybe is more for Susan. It says requesting 4% increase for these positions, but it doesn't reflect that, right? The spreadsheet does not, your spreadsheet has the same as it did in adopted
because
last
we told them not to enter
year.
anything in
Right,
it.
so, yeah.
Tony, will you have that replacement employee in 25 yet, or is that 26, for when you have the retirement? Okay. Okay. So there'll be some overlap. Okay, that's what I couldn't remember, if it would be 25 and 26 or just one, okay.
A question about the money counters. Somebody else had one in their office too, right? Is it,
Clerk's office has them.
they're two separate money counters? Each one has, each office?
Correct.
Didn't the clerk assume one from the treasurer or vice versa initially?
Okay, you're gonna have to come to the mic, yeah. You guys can't have conversation because nobody's gonna know what they're saying.
Nobody's gonna hear us. One of our machines, when we replaced it with a new one, the clerk's office took that one because they did not have any.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, I do. Joni? On the maintenance contracts, it went up quite a bit, but is that additional or new maintenance contracts, or
It's
just
a
an increase of the old ones?
It's a new maintenance contract. In our 25 budget, we bought a new remote capture machine where we scan our checks through to send them electronically. And so that came with a new maintenance contract. So our money counters have maintenance contracts on them, so those were same ones.
Okay.
But we have an additional one for that new remote capture machine.
All right, thank you.
Wait a minute. What was I, training travel, is this increased because of the new rules by the commissioners, or do you have to have people trained since you're having a new person come in?
I'd like to send my new person to the NACO leadership training, so I had to increase that to cover that training.
Which that's online. She's not.
Right, it's
going
online.
anywhere.
It's not, she's not going anywhere, right.
Pay to.
Oh, yeah,
Right, it would be online.
thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for Joni? Very good. Okay, thank you. Let's go to Highway Administration
Okay,
next.
what about Sunny Meadows, surveyor?
If you want us to go in order, we can do that there, so. So, fulfilling a.
Well, that will finish your county general ones.
So, okay. Let's go to Sunny Meadows, fulfilling a request from the audience here.
The plan for Sunny Meadows right now is that we be empty by May. May
If not sooner.
Okay.
Yeah.
We kind of have to be because insurance ends.
I mean, it could be renewed for, yeah.
Well, that's not, I know, but that's not the goal. I know. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not the goal, yeah.
yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, the goal is to try and get it done by May. That's where we kind of set our goal for and hopeful. But when we found out how far behind people are on getting diagnosis and waivers and all the things that they have to get the benefits that they need to be able to move out and live on their own, it's become a lot more complicated. We have a great consultant, Brenda, did a fantastic job with each individual, making sure each individual is being taken care of. But there could be a couple that we hit May and we don't have a place for them yet. And we may have to consider what that means. Does that mean we find them some other kind of housing temporarily, get them out of that building because it's not efficient to run with two people?
Is Brenda on here somewhere?
He's on the,
Page, back page? Okay. That's manpower, on the back page.
She really, really knows her stuff, and she is putting a lot of work into each individual to make sure that they've got what they need to, what they should have coming.
Our number of residents was 11. Are we still at that amount?
12 is what they said.
Okay.
no, where are we at, Lita? We were at, and we were at 17, 19 at the beginning, down to 11 with 3. So through 3 more may transition by the end of the month. Just so everybody online hears it.
Getting much pushback with the rest?
Thank you, Lita.
Are we getting what, Bill?
Much pushback from the rest of them?
From the residents?
Yeah.
We have one, and we're gonna have to do some, Andrew's helping with that. We may have to do eviction. There's possibly one more we might have to if we can't convince him it's in his best interest to make his own decision. So,
With the numbers going down, are you closing off like sections?
no, because there's still, you've got men and women, and, you know, so,
Do they have everybody downstairs now?
no.
Okay, so
There's
that's
some
about
that,
the only
there's some that
closing
don't
down.
want to move downstairs.
Well, that'd be
Especially the
about
one
only
that has the big room and has AC. No, you don't want to move.
That'd be about the only way you could go to sections is to move everybody downstairs.
Yeah, and there's not enough rooms downstairs for everybody, so.
My only question is, as we get fewer and fewer residents, a number of, now, I wouldn't want to change it now because it's too early, but as we get fewer and fewer residents, some of these positions that are being filled can be eliminated, so the money would not be spent.
Right.
But it can't, it's got to stay in there now because you still have to have
We
them
still have a,
if you got people out there.
And I wouldn't cut any out of there because you may need it. If you close that building completely down, you have 2 people left and we have to house them temporarily in a
you're
hotel
still
or
gonna need
something for
some
a
kind of
month
staff.
until they get their, I mean, I don't know what could happen, but it's gonna come to the point where 2 people living in that giant home, it's not gonna be
Yeah.
effective.
No, it's
Right.
with the utilities and everything else and providing food and everything, it'd be very expensive.
And the state looked at it, for some of them, getting their benefits back. They took their benefits away thinking they were in an institution. And it just so happened that I walked in on a meeting between Brenda on the phone and another committee member talking with Indianapolis. And I go, whoa, 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 we're not an institution. And she goes, well, what are you? And I said, well, halfway house maybe? I said, but not an institution. They can come and go as they please. So that helped get one's benefits back because the state doesn't understand. A lot of them do not
Don't deal with
understand
very
what
many.
we do. So,
I never realized, and Lita and I talked about this the other day, I never realized that if you were in an institution, they would remove your benefits. You know, if you're in prison, don't get Social Security and all this other stuff? Apparently not.
so, yeah. And every single one of them are different. We had 19 different cases. None of them are alike, none of them. So Brenda it's probably the best money this county has spent in a long time. She's doing fabulous. She knows the ins and outs. It's been a huge challenge for her because I think it was more than what she anticipated, but she's taken it and going with it, so. And the residents are now warming up to her knowing that she's helping, but,
It was not good for a
it's
while.
been a tough road, so.
But if we give those folks, and I shouldn't say the residents, if we're giving a date that says we're closing, and we have to go through the eviction process, I mean, there has to be some sort of legal says, okay, this facility is closing. It's kind of like if you're selling your house, and maybe because it's a government entity that it makes it different. If I'm selling my property and I say you have to be out at the end of the month because, you know, Rick is buying this house and he's gonna live here, I mean, what's to say that they're just holding on until that last possible date and then you start the eviction process and then we're,
She,
6
in
or
this
9 months
case,
out?
this resident does not want to cooperate whatsoever.
Yeah, the two that are concerned about are the people that don't want to.
They are
We're moving on
putting their
those
foot down and
now.
I
saying,
was gonna say, can we move on those now? I
Yes,
mean, I don't
that's
want,
they already are.
okay.
Yeah.
They already are.
Yeah.
Because
the
it's a
peop-
long process.
Because obviously you don't wanna wait till the end and then
No,
you're
it's a long
starting
process.
with them.
The people that are,
But if they have to get benefits, that's beyond
But
my.
the people that would be, still possibly be here in May are those that might have a specific mental health problem that not every facility will take or cannot go on their own into an apartment or something like that.
And some of them don't have their diagnosis.
yeah. they
So
didn't have
you've
a
got to
diagnosis.
track down the physicians way back. Some need their birth certificates. There's 2 that we're trying to find. They remember where they're born, but you got to be able to try and get their birth certificates. So there's, like I said, it's all over the board. It's all over the board.
Have you,
But I will say the ones that have transitioned out are happy. They've been excited to go and they're happy. I ran into one that went to Fort Wayne. I've ran into her and she gets to go swimming. So they're all happy. That's one thing I want the county to know, that we're doing right.
right,
And we got to do it right till the end, whether it ends in May, whether it ends a year from now. We got to do it right.
Any other questions for Lita? Thank you.
Thank you, Lita.
Okay, moving on, next in order, surveyor.
On this particular one, and I've mentioned something to Glenn this morning, and I've talked to Bill about this previously. The surveyor's office is kind of a special case. If the surveyor doesn't have certain licenses, we're not allowed to pay the set salary that we have provided, but it's a reduced salary. And with the way we handle chief deputies, the chief deputy in the surveyor's office, under our normal process, would get 80% of the elected official's salary. But because we've got a reduced salary, it really brings it down to an inappropriate number, call it that. And the the person that is acting as the chief deputy is doing a considerable amount of work and does need to have his pay raised Again, it does break the cycle of what our standard is, but it's being broken for a specific reason, a specific cause. And I think that what we can do is move some of the salary that we cannot pay the elected surveyor, move that to his salary. Whether that amount is 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, that's to be determined. But he's the one that's actually leading the office on a day-to-day basis. You have an elected official who's getting paid, but at a reduced rate. We have a chief deputy that is actually the day-to-day office manager doing the work. So I do believe that we should move some of that elected official's pay that we can't give him down to this technician.
And that technician is whom?
11,278.
11,278, thank you.
One thing I can say, Tyler goes to all, like the plan commission and all the meetings that should be done by the surveyor, but he does that because he's more qualified and everything.
Do you guys have a number in mind yet or not?
Actually, I don't.
I would say 5.
I'd go along with 5.
Okay.
And that would be on top of whatever, if we give 2% raises, that would be in addition to that. That's the way I would look at it.
So wouldn't it be better if you did it as like a stipend? So that if that position ever changes, that extra is not automatically there in case there is a licensed
Yeah,
surveyor?
he could change the positions to one of the other guys, yeah. That would probably
It's
save
way
some,
low,
that would probably pay some paperwork somewhere along the way.
yeah.
So are you asking to reduce the surveyor's current salary?
He already is reduced by state law.
He's not getting that 82 because he's not registered.
We're not allowed to pay that because he doesn't have the certain certificates, licenses, which is common across the entire state.
So why is that?
We always put that 84 in there to begin the budgeting processes in case something would change in our time frame that we're working on, and an elected official, like, he may quit and then somebody else may be hired that is a registered one.
So we're in agreement then on the 5?
I'm good with 5,
I'm good on that.
and I'm good with doing it as a stipend.
That would be the better way to go.
You're saying move that down to the lead tech, the 11278.
Well, it's not gonna be in that account number, it's gonna be in a stipend account number.
Well, I mean, that person is what I'm saying.
Yes. See,
See, he's getting paid the same as Troy.
Right.
right, because they're both Pat Cs,
He's, Tyler's,
right?
Well, before we go to highway, that's probably. Dave, when they've decided,
Pardon?
Bill and I would like a break before we move on to the
I thought
highway.
we'd wait till Bob Kraft comes back and then we'll take a break.
Okay. We'll make him stay here while we go out, okay?
he is soil and water.
Okay.
We did them yesterday.
Okay, got a question?
Well, I just want to clarify so I'm understanding it. The elected official is at that 54 amount.
Correct.
If he was the registered, then it could go to 82.
Correct.
Right.
But he's not registered.
So we're taking the 5, assuming it's off of the 82 to pass down.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
We're really doing that because he is making the same amount as the surveying technician, and the goal would be for him to make more than the surveying technician because he's essentially running the day-to-day office.
He's a deputy.
Correct.
And that's what flagged it, is that they were making exactly the same amount.
Okay, we in agreement?
Yeah, one before.
Okay,
His wage
okay.
regular account. Plus
Councilman Kraft has entered the building. We are now in recess for a restroom break.
Yep, we aren't now. So it looks like they pay for, here's our answer, from the other day. They pay their portion of A1 janitorial.
Oh, yeah.
And then it looks like they paid for some dues and their charts software maintenance service, and I think the newspaper subscription.
Their janitorial.
So why don't the other buildings, other departments, I guess, pay for their own A1 janitorial? Why is it just the highway?
I need to look at that. The highway would, because highway has their special,
Their own money.
their own money, whereas some of the other departments still are paid from county general. So that's where the rest of it normally is paid from. I would have to look to see if those with special funding pay their own. I'm looking.
And this one would be.
Central Dispatch, they pay for their own with A1 also because they have the lit funding.
And they have their own complete building. I mean, here, you got all these bathrooms that have to be cleaned. Well, everybody uses the bathrooms.
This is courthouse.
Yeah. So, I don't know how you would split that up.
Generally things only get split apart, something like that, if a department has their own funds, like the health, highway, Central Dispatch has the lit. So if they are able to pay for it out of a non-county general fund, then that's when it
It's very
gets
easy
split up.
to specify what's
And A1 will bill it that way, they won't just bill it all on one.
So like community corrections would pay.
I'm looking because I don't see that they do, but. I don't see one. I'll have to ask if they are doing that.
So the 1176,
The second section.
well, any of them, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Are all of those funds available to use for roads if they were not eaten up with other staff or repairs, those kinds of things? Can they use it for roads?
As far as I am aware.
We got a couple insurances, I'm sure, because the buildings, facilities are so much more. And then all the liability insurance is up, just like all the liability insurance for the county is up. He bumped his natural gas up quite a bit, and his electric is a lot bigger.
Well, that's what he just had a
Yeah, that's
complaint
what I
additional
circled
for.
before, yeah. But he's in line with what we bumped, what we had to do.
Amy, to answer your question, Ben says yes, the money in 1176 can be used for roads.
Yep. What's that, Jody?
Ben said the 1176 money can be used for roads.
Which, in construction and maintenance, that's, especially the construction.
So a lot of those funds that could be directed towards roads end up paying for a lot of other things, it looks like. Is that total, the MVH 11.7, so that's 3.3 million?
Yeah.
Some of that's repairs, vehicles, some of that's staff, benefits, and then the rest of the actual road money is, it looks like right around 2.3 million.
There's $1 million that comes from the Commissioner's Lighted for highway operations, which includes the things for the roads also.
Okay,
I
yep.
mean, he's got some, like local road and street money. Those, I didn't print those, but they don't have wages.
Yeah.
Those would have been in,
Also have the bridge money.
yeah, and there's some bridge, yes, there's bridge money.
And
There's 990,000 in the local road and street for sand, salt, equipment, and a vehicle they're able to purchase out of there.
well, it's gonna be start getting money, fuel tax.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That
Yeah, that will all go into the 1176 fund.
Amy's comment there, what happens in the year if he doesn't use all the petroleum product, gas went down and didn't use it all? Or
It stays in his fund balance.
is he able to encumber it for the next
No.
year to use on roads and say, I'm gonna
No.
gravel with this?
You can only encumber monies if you have an invoice or purchase order stating the exact amount that
Since
you
it's a highway fund, it doesn't have to go back. It stays in the highway fund for him to use the next year. Anything extra that's unspent.
every fund, any fund that is not, any appropriation that's not spent just stays as the cash balance in their fund. And then they start on the new budget.
Yeah, because if you don't use all your tire fund because you didn't buy that many tires.
Right.
You might have 10,000 left the next year that's
Right.
gonna be able to might build up and be able to use for a road
How much
fund.
of when they set the tax rate for general fund, 2026,
Okay.
they'll have the budgeted amounts that we've set up. Do they take into consideration any of the cash balance from the previous year when they set the tax rate?
Yeah, I believe so, because we have to put all that information in Gateway. Yeah, they do. The only thing that they wouldn't know is if there's gonna be unspent appropriations.
I don't have any idea, how close are we to our maximum levy?
You know,
For this year, let's not think about next year, let's think about this year, past years.
all right, just a second, because I had asked, Jeff and Nikki.
Oh, we're looking for that, while Susan's looking for that. Over the past couple of years, we have seen where when different departments have had cuts, we've come along and tried to help them, as we've done here today with different ones. And with the highway department, obviously over the next, taking some cuts already. And I think we should consider looking at taking on some of their staff or benefits and covering those to help them free up some of their own dollars that they could pour back into the roads. If I calculated correctly, their perf, insurance, and Social Security would come out to right around $640,000. That if we cover that out of the county general instead, then they would have those dollars to put towards the roads. As we've said, there was a lot of need in our county to fix the roads, and here is another way that we could look at doing that. I know it's not the norm. Most counties aren't spending or moving funds around to help cover the roads this way, but I think we've seen the state is kind of pushing this back into our plates and saying, hey, you guys got to take care of your roads, which Rick alluded to earlier. And so, and added into the staff, if we started covering some of their staff, that would be, what I have, 1.5. So together we would look at 2.2 million. Maybe we don't absorb all that this year, but begin to look at ways. This would be another option that we could help the county. We could help get some roads done. We've already talked about when we are looking at like putting aside our 30%, we've shown over the last several years that we've had in excess of $10 million extra. So I think that beginning to absorb 1 or 2 million from the highway department of their costs so that we could free up those funds for roads, I think would really show that we're doing our due diligence for the county or for the citizens who asked us when we had the open forum or the open public meeting to say, let's look for some other ways that we can fund the roads. And here's another third option that we could look at to doing that.
With everything highway has spent, what may be unspent, any receipts still coming, and with their request for 26, when everything is said and done, the estimated cash reserves at the end of 2026 is 67%.
Okay.
Or highway.
For the highway.
And I understand what Amy's trying to
Yeah.
do, and I understand the reasoning for it, but as someone has had to manage different departments and manage what different costs are for different functions, I would not want to start taking things out of the highway department and putting it in general, because it makes it very difficult to know how much you're spending on a particular function. The reason that highways are separate is so that we can determine what those costs are to maintain our roads. So I would not want to see us do that. There must be other ways that we can figure that out. And what would that do to our cash balance in general? Right now, if I look at, if we do all the ones you already suggested here, Susan, we're going to have a residual of anywhere from 25 to 27%. Isn't Jeff Peters' suggestion to us 30%?
Correct.
So we'd be going even farther down below, and I don't want to see anything that would happen that would start getting us into the 15 and 10% residuals.
Then how much would you recommend? And how much would you recommend that we look
For
at
this-
instead?
For highway, nothing.
So the only answer then at this point is just to raise the taxes? Is what would there be?
I would rather leave this sit And I understand what you're doing, because why they ended up into the highway department is when we came on, because we didn't have enough money in the general funds to cover the insurance and stuff when we were $1 million in debt. And I also think that we should wait until we see how much money we actually get back from our wheels tax before we start moving things back and forth.
Oh, but
And that's what I know, I would rather do it that way.
But one of the points that you guys made was that we have $35 million in projects that need to be done across the county. How are we going to get that done? I mean, that was your point. Your point was we have $35 million, and that's why we need to raise the tax. Well, the tax that we raise, even if we went to the maximum, isn't going to fix that. So where else are we going to raise the funds from?
At this point, I don't think that decision's gonna be made at this point, because it's most likely going to come from maybe either an increase in the wheel tax, or when we start having to look next year at the local option income taxes. One of the points that I think Bill is making is that when Bill came on, and when I first came on the council, we were in a world of hurt, because in order to get more money to roads, what the council at that time had done was move a lot of the day-to-day operational expenses from the highway department into the bridge fund, which put our bridge fund in dire straits to the point where we actually had to raise the cum cap tax to get bridges paid for, because we were using the wrong pocket to take money out of to do the day-to-day operations. And I don't want to see us do anything that would move us back into that particular position, because it's not going to be too long before we can't afford to pay for bridges out of cum cap, because we need the cum cap money to replace our other equipment, which is what the fund was set up for in the first place.
We're already there. We're already there.
We're already there. Okay, so see, it's, you know, all this robbing Peter to pay Paul stuff just makes us go in the wrong direction. So, no.
I would be interested in anybody else's opinion.
Susan, your comment about the cash balance and all the highway funds being 67% after they're all paid, 25, the estimate.
For 20, including the 26 budget request.
So that's 67% of this total, the 5 million? You have a cash balance?
Well, 1176, so.
Or just 11?
So 1176 is 3.4 million requested, and the 1173 is 2.
So more than half of that we have left over extra in the highway fund.
Yes.
In a cash balance.
And
that's
Local Road
important
and
to know right
Street
there, Amy.
has.
There's $1.5 million.
How much Local Road and Street had?
Local Road and Street is estimated to be at 52%.
Amy, there's $1.5 million
Right, right.
of extra that's there.
But we just passed a wheel tax because we said we were going to be short. So.
Well, we are with the projects that should or need to be done. He's only doing the bare minimum with what money he has, from what I understand.
And part of the wheel tax issue was our qualifications for the second level of community crossing.
Right.
So there was multiple reasons for that.
I understand what you're saying, Amy, but at this point, for the same reason that I made the motion to do the wheel tax at the lowest amount, until we know what crew shortage we have, because we're gonna be able to tap this extra million, and then there's 50 million extra set aside for counties that are small like us that we're gonna be able to tap. We don't, and then we don't know what's gonna happen with lighted being replaced through our general. You know, how much is it, 100% replaced, 80% replaced? You know, so it's gonna take at least another year for us to know. I wanna know that we have at least as much as we had last year in highway fund, and I think we have more than we had last year. We continue to go with what we have, and so I wouldn't be for trying to pull anything out of general this year, but I do think that's an avenue to look at if we're short in the future, because if that extra million that we're getting doesn't cover it, the extra 50 million that they're putting aside for us doesn't cover it, and we still need to do more, or, maybe we even have to raise the wheel tax if we don't have enough. I mean, I'm open to that. But at this point, I don't think we know where that's all gonna settle out with the state.
And you're right there too, if they don't, I don't know whether they have or not, but if the city of Indianapolis don't match their funds, that money's coming back to the county too. The pot. That's 50 million, so that had a little bit.
We may not be in as bad a shape for the roads as what we originally thought, is what you're saying.
Well, there's projects to be done, but, and like, the only thing, like, I don't mind taking it out, and I think we're gonna have to take it out of general. When they have a bid on 60, that study on 60 is gonna cost us $250,000, right?
We have to match and pay for that.
And we'll have to have stuff like that. I don't want to take it out of his budget, but I think I can reason taking it out of the general fund so we get the study done, then go from that. I'd like to see what we're going to be in with the SB1 bill and everything next year before we start pulling other money out. I am all right with that, and there's a couple other things I'm okay with, but just taking it out to cover his,
The other piece of it, with the wheel tax was the money that he currently gets for the CCMG grant that he gets every year, community crossing grant thing. We weren't gonna get all of it. I don't even know if we're gonna get what we currently get with the wheel tax that was passed. So that will be other monies that will be coming from his funds that normally weren't, because we normally got them in grants.
Yeah, well, my understanding was that we needed as much money as we could possibly get as soon as possible so that we could go through and fix all of the roads. Roads are so bad, like, we just had to get them fixed, right? So trying to put out here some other alternatives to look at, but maybe it's not as bad as we thought it was, and we didn't have to do all that in the first place. I don't know. We'll find out.
One of the other things that I think we need to do, and we have still not provided it. Mike Watson tried to provide it last year. We tried to provide it again this year. We have that 35 million. Does that 35 million need to be done, that in projects need to be done in the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? We don't have a plan. We don't have a plan as what's needed. One of our citizens went in and looked at what they have in Noble County. In Noble County, there is an Excel spreadsheet that shows each road, when it's going to be improved, whether or not it's going to be paved, how much it's going to cost, what year it's going to be done, and they have it all set out. We don't have that. We need that.
I'm pretty sure that Ben provided
Ben
us.
does not have it in the detail that Noble County's got it. Ben's got his ideas. Ben is taking things as needed, but he doesn't have it set out. The same thing, LaGrange County went out and hired their engineering firm to do that same thing. Noble County has an engineer on staff within their highway department that keeps that up to date. We don't have that.
And even something as simple as the decision process for paving a road. How many driveways or how much traffic does that road have to have for us to validate paving that? I think that's a basic. We gotta get that so that we're not making those decisions.
And I believe the commissioners were dealing with an issue like that on Tuesday, because there is a person that wants County Road 17 paved. And, it's an issue of who's gonna pay for it. It's gonna be this individual, but there are going to be others that come to us and want to have their road paved, and we have no standards.
Yeah.
I think we've provided the standard that Steuben County set up. But again, Steuben County had an engineer on staff that we don't have. And it's not that I'm not saying that we need one on a regular basis, but we at least need to have access, and we need to have some of this more detailed stuff put out.
Well, I think it's disingenuous to say that Ben doesn't have a plan. He does have a plan. It may not be the details that you want, but he does have a plan.
He has
He's laid-
something as
he's
best
laid-
he can
He's
do.
laid that out pretty clearly.
Ben,
and
Ben
he's
has
been
done,
here.
Ben has done an excellent job.
Yes.
Believe me,
Thank you.
after.
Yes,
I
he's
think
done a very
Ben
good
is the
job.
third highway superintendent that I've been with,
Mm-hmm.
and probably more than that going back in previous years, but Ben does a wonderful job. But Ben can only do so much.
Yes. He can only do so much with the money we give him.
So are we done with the highway?
Sadly, it sounds like it.
Okay. That is our last one, correct, Susan?
As far as I know.
So,
Okay, so answer Rick on the max levy. I asked Peters Franklin about it because I remember George Helton telling me that for 2025, we were not at our max levy. So this is what Nikki said. She said, the DLGF estimated max levy includes a mental health adjustment and a developmental disability adjustment that are the maximum allowable. The amounts we used are based on historical amounts of those two adjustments. The Form 3 is still higher than what we expect the max levy to be, but less than the DLGF amount. I have and then she's attached the worksheet. So we are less than the DLGF max levy, but higher than what Peter Franklin thinks that we
Would like
should
us
be.
to be?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, prior to the adjustments, the max levy would be, estimated would be 11,717,430.
And is that only for the general, or is that all, the whole
Just-
tax rate?
Just the general.
Yeah, just the general.
And with what I had submitted as advertised, which I submit high for wages, so, but the actual submitted amount, we come in at 10,950.
So in order to get us to an end product, the two things we haven't done is to determine what the pay rate will be, increase, and your list of items here.
Yes, and then we also will need to talk about fume cap. Okay,
Can I add
uh-huh,
a comment?
yeah.
I know I wasn't here last night due to problems on the farm, but we also, and I want to put this in your mind, this may not happen, but we have free rent from the farm service out there for the soil and water conservation. And we're not sure that we're gonna have a building 6 months, or by the end of 6 months, because of the way the federal government and restructuring that. I know she didn't put it down because she didn't know, maybe we can move them out to Sunny Meadows, but, and be a place, but that's gotta be in their minds too, because it is what, that will come, and we don't know whatever the federal is, because that's a federal building that's rented or paid by the federal government, and they let us use that for rent-free.
Yeah, we did talk about that, but we didn't know that was coming to an end.
Actually, Amy and I talked about that last night because we toured that building as part of the space study.
Yeah.
But it might be coming to an end. It might be,
Yeah,
no?
but they said that that's the issue. They said it may never happen, but see, they're putting a new USDA hub in Indianapolis. And they don't know when they get that in there, what's it gonna do with the county stuff. And I just wanna throw that out. I'm not, it's nothing we gotta worry about now, but it might come that we have to find a building for them.
We're doing a study.
Well, see, I don't know if there's a signed agreement with them. See, yeah.
The commissioners wanted us to go through and see all of the spaces in which county offices occupy, and that was list.
Yeah, but that is that's not a, the federal rents that building for the F.
Right, and they have the shared, a little bit of shared.
FS, yeah, I can think of what I'm thinking, but they got half, and the other half, plus there's 2 or 3 rooms that they have meeting rooms in out there, so. I don't exactly know who owns the building, but I know that the.
Somebody knew because they renovated the whole
Yeah, so-
complex.
Weibel sold it.
But we're paid by the federal government right now.
And that's only because they share with the USDA, right?
Yeah,
Is it like that in other counties, do we know?
well, I have no
Well,
clue.
that's why I was asking the question, is because I put out a blog and I've gotten no response back from most people, but the ones that have responded say they don't pay. So I assume they've got the same
Well,
type
see,
of arrangement.
I mean, I could see if their services are,
They're intertwined,
right, they rely on each other. for
Yeah.
information.
How many square feet do they have, you know?
no. They've got,
Was it?
Yeah. And
Oh,
they
they
share
were-
a bathroom and
well,
they
there's
actually share
four
a bathroom
offices.
with somebody.
There's
with
4
another
offices in the
group.
back. No, okay, recuse.
But at least the one.
Derek is a federal worker, but there's 3 of them 3 officers that's county employed, and then the front office is county employed, and then the Jenny, whatever, is a federal worker that works in the front there. Huh? No, Jennifer, if you walk in, she works there, as you see Judy, and, yeah, whatever. And she's right there, so there's actually 2 USDA people there, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 of the county people working there. No,
So, any idea what that would
but I just wanted you to know that's a possibility, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
all the federal cuts?
Yeah, because the fact that I think they'd have to be pretty close, because when you go in and get, let's say, money to put a set aside or something in, both sides gotta approve it, so you have the right amount of money to do it. Yeah, it is, but sometimes they don't think through what they've gotta do.
Unless they decide to go to, multi-county.
What, she's gonna lecture me on?
Who owns it? I don't know. Who's J.C. Legacy? Do you know, Bob?
What's that?
J.C. Legacy, that's the owner of the building.
Okay, while we're looking at this, can we kind of circle back to see where we're gonna need to get to our 30%?
Okay, so
Thank you.
with everything that has been discussed so far, that is all of the cuts that I had suggested,
Which are the ones on this list?
which is the one on that last page, yes. And taking additional 10,000 away for my seasonal employee, taking 41,114 away for the VA, adding in the 5,000 for the stipend. I did add 56,376 for Sunny Meadows because I realized I didn't put the matron's amount on there. And then with 200,000 for the health HFI, at a 2.5% increase, we would be at 25%. At a 2% increase, we'd be at 26.
Didn't we have a $30,000 in there we cut out somewhere? I'd have to go back and look, but we struck a line out.
No, that was not out of general. That was out of project income.
Yeah, that was,
Okay,
It wasn't a general fund.
okay, thank you.
Well, personally, I don't think that we can go any less than a 2.5% raise. But I'm sorry, but I don't know that I can justify 3% either at this time. And I appreciate all the departments held the line on darn near everything they had any control over. But just 2.5% across the board. Now, there were some within the health department that we were going to not give raises to, but that's not going to be enough to really change the bottom line number.
That's not even going to be county general. That's not even county
That's
general.
the health department, okay. But I just, knowing that the target is 30%, I just can't take us down below 25%. So 2.5 is what I would think for wages.
Do we have that in a motion then, for the council to vote on 2.5%?
If that's what we need, is I'll make a motion that the raises be 2.5%. Well,
I feel like we need to
don't want to
discuss
vote on it yet.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
I-
even have a second.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, is that 2.5? Amy, Bob, Dave, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts? Is that what we want to do? And is 2% better?
How much are we saving on 0.5%? Huh? We save,
Either 25% or 26%.
No, I think he's looking for dollars. Is that what you were looking for?
roughly, yeah.
Dollars.
Well,
Difference.
it's there in the blue and pink, I think,
Yeah.
right? It's-
2%, we're gonna save,
Just a second.
well, we're gonna save what,
100,000, it looks like.
about 100,000?
Yeah.
That would could go towards the 200,000 for the health, no, health department is not included in this.
Got that in?
The health department programs that they're requesting to be covered is part of county general, because that's the only place we could pay for it from.
Put that in there, wait.
In the percentages that I gave, the 25 and the 26%, I added in the 200,000 for those programs so that you knew where you were with it.
So are we agreeing on that we're gonna put in the 200,000?
You haven't made that decision yet. That's just where we were.
Before we can get to
I would rather,
number, we need to know what the raise is gonna be. That's the biggest change in our budget for next year.
I would rather put that 200,000 to staff at this point than,
Amy, did you say the cost of living was 2.5% for this year so far?
yeah, 2 to 2.5%, what the COLA was.
What do you mean? I mean, it all depends what plan you're on.
No, it's more cash.
Did the people that aren't insurance go up more than 2.5% in their premiums? Of course,
I don't know.
many of them don't even have any premiums.
I'd have to figure that out because if you did the wellness thing and you're on employee only, you're not paying anything for insurance. So I would have to find somebody specific and figure it out.
That's pretty,
And Amy, what'd you say was the
between
cost of
2
living?
and 2.5, 2 to 2.5%.
We're
is the
looking,
COLA.
and we're looking at another 3 months or 4 months, you know, what's gonna change in that next 3 to 4 months.
I do.
You know, in the past, we've had to say, we take 5% off of everybody's budget, and we've had to do that. It's not fun, it's painful, but we may have to take a look and see, because we told everybody, keep everything consistent with last year, but we gave them the caveat that that may be reduced, and we're there.
I think for their expenses, they did. The majority of the departments didn't go up more than.
They didn't go up,
4%.
but
They
we've
stayed
had to
within that 4% limit of the growth quotient, so.
but we might have to tighten the budget a little tighter.
Like I said, I just don't wanna go below 25%
No, that
cash
even,
balance.
even at
And,
26.
But I think that, quite honestly, the employees that are here, the ones that we have, the ones that have stuck with us, we've got great employees.
We do.
We've got to reward them.
No,
It's,
I'm not saying.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that inflation has been close to what I'm projecting or what I'm saying. We're still looking at another 3 or 4 months before the final number comes in for this year, let alone for what's gonna happen next year. So I think 2.5% is the right choice, but that's just me. I've made that motion and nobody seconded it, so it may not go anywhere.
Get a vote on it, I'll second it.
Okay,
Have a vote on it.
we have a motion to increase the salaries by 2.5%. A motion by Rick Ring, second by Bill Van Wy. Any further discussion on the wage increase? 2.5. Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor of 2.5% raise for next year's budget signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Oppose?
Aye, yes.
Pardon?
No,
You're for it?
I'll support it. 2.5.
Okay,
Okay.
motion is carried unanimously.
Now, with all that being said, when that number when all this stuff is done and Susan comes back to us on the 24th, we can still cut it back if necessary.
Okay, so health insurance, Rick. From self-funded, well, we're still self-funded, from the 2024, employee only was paying 7%, employee spouse 11%, employee child 10%, and family 14%. Then we came and we have HSA and PPO. So, so the employee-only percentage went from 7 to 8. Many are paying 0. The spouses, the commissioners chose to, and it makes sense because the spouses are some of the higher carriers that are higher costs that are bringing insurance up. So they did theirs from 11% up to 14%. And if they did the wellness, then they're only paying 10%, so they're paying less. The employee child went from 10% to 12% or 8% if they did it. And the family went from 14% to 15% or 12% if they did the wellness.
So you're saying they're paying their 15% of their total cost for the year is what the employee covers, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And on the PPO plan, the coverage is not quite as good. That deductible, the other one didn't, and it also doesn't pay, after you get your max out of pocket, you still have to pay now. And I didn't before, because I hit max out of pocket in January when I was in the hospital.
Is that the plan with the HSA? Does it have an HSA?
No, that's the
Oh,
the other one.
And the commissioners gave the employees a wonderful opportunity to go through the wellness program and essentially end up not having to pay anything.
Yep.
And if they didn't take advantage of it, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. But,
And that is,
If you were employee only.
yeah.
and that is a one-time thing that won't happen in 26 is what we were communicating.
well,
They haven't made that decision yet.
Okay.
And, you know, and I think that what the commissioners were trying to do, and it's again, one of those things that will save us money, is if we can get the employees and the employees' families to take better care of themselves, do things that are going to improve their health, will make our costs go down. So, you know, it's that carrot and stick thing.
Okay, so on county general, 2.5%. Is the 25%, including the HFI program at 200,000 that you haven't made a decision on yet.
So-
To take the 200,000 completely out of it, you go to 26%.
But leaving it in, it's how much?
Say, leaving it in, it's 25% cash reserve estimate. 6.
Okay.
So one other piece of that before you go further. If we, okay, so on this sheet, it says cumulative capital development at the top of it. Pretty much all gray with one tiny red mark. So above the red mark is what is requested out of our CCD fund. So the full 1.1 million requested, the 1,119,150. That currently is a negative 22% cash balance if all that is approved. So some of that may, I don't know where it's going to come from, but we won't be able to fund all of it. The bottom part, so it's very confusing. So I have to pay all claims out of Fund 1138. But when we increase the cum cap rate, 42% of every settlement goes to the bridges. So in order to be able to track that, then actually it was Jan, we created a home rule fund, which is 4738, so that we know how much money is directed to the highway department because of that tax increase. So what happens is at the end of the year, however much Ben has spent out of 1138, we write a check from 4738 to put back into 1138 because that's really what's paying for those monies, for that, or for those expenses.
Am I correct? Cum cap is not levy controlled? No tax caps or any of that is gonna hit the cume cap. I think.
That's correct, as far as I
So this could end
know.
up with more money in it than, depending on whether or not the assessed valuation goes up and all the other things.
Yeah. I
This-
mean, we
this is-
currently, right this minute, we have no money. There's no money in that fund.
Okay.
I mean, on the fund reports, it's gonna actually show negative because that would be the, highway expenses that will get moved over from the other fund at the end of the year. There is, let me think about this a minute. So under courthouse, we have building repair and maintenance. Let me pull something up real quick. So we have 395,000 estimated there. We also have we have 200,000 in county general, which is what I've been using first this year. And then for 2026, the commissioners have put in, let me think. They either put in 100,000 or 200,000 for Larry to be able to use as everybody going to him for their needs.
So does that take place of like this office remodel and the put out for 250 is hit? There's Larry, that 200,000 Larry has supposed to.
Well, that was this year.
That was this year.
Yeah, they're not asking for that for next
Did
year.
they spend all of that in 20? I thought Larry was involved in that. And it might be.
I don't believe that they have. They paid for some of it out of one of their incentive funds. Looks like they've spent, out of the cume cap part, quickly looking at this, they've spent about 53,000. I don't know if they're all, I mean, they're getting close. I don't know if they're all done or not. Which, I mean, we'll have to play it by ear for that also, depending how much more comes until settlement time.
On this. You may have already said it and I missed it. Courthouse repairs, office remodel.
Is
Okay, there's nothing.
nothing,
Okay,
correct.
I see it. That's
Yep.
this year's budget, not last year.
the plan commission stuff, that is just what will be needed for the year, not with the full, the plan commission, like the, comprehensive plan and the Eagle View contract. It's not like the full value.
That Eagle View thing, isn't that's where they do the flyovers, and that's being used by not only us, but by all the cities and towns and realtors and Beacon and everything else. That's fairly important. And you had said yesterday, we've zeroed out the tax rate for the redevelopment, or the reassessment, so that'll take that out. So,
While we're looking at that, let's discuss the 200,000, take a vote on it, whether that's gonna stay in the health department or be adjusted at the August 24th meeting, but I think we need a motion to yea or nay from the council, whether we want to do that 200,000. Or leave it in, just leave it in.
What do you mean, Dave?
Well, we put that $200,000 in for the health department for Cheryl to.
Yeah.
And we talked about voting on it at one time, whether we want to or not, or just leave it in there and then come back and look at it.
What do you mean, leave it in there until we,
Till the 24th.
till the 24th? And we'll, after we get all the numbers solidified, we can decide to take it out, right?
Or part of it, or whatever.
You need a motion to keep it in there.
I think the motion was already made to put it in.
Okay.
We didn't vote on it then.
We didn't motion it. Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, it was voted to pay it out of county general, and it passed 4-2.
I would agree with Bill. I think leave it in there. That gives us a week and a half to think about it. Sure. Susan and Jody to get all the numbers together, and then on the 24th, vote on whether or not it stays in.
So right now, we're at 2.5% raise and at 25% cash balance. We need to approve this on a first reading.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, wait. No, we got
an airport one to do too.
we already did the airport. We did the airport yesterday, but when you pass the budget on first reading, that's everything. So you need to decide what you're doing if you're not doing anything with the CCD fund that's not gonna be funded.
Are there any other funds out there that we need to look at besides this one? The bridge fund or any of the other?
I mean, the Cume Bridge is gonna be at like a 9%, but there's not really a lot you do there. I mean, you kinda spend that one
I
and,
was gonna say, that goes to zero most times.
yeah, so, but, no, I mean, the highway restricted, but that also is one that fluctuates because you can't pay everything out of there anyways, and that's a guess on the budgeting part of it.
Because we have a shortfall, we have to cut something.
I would, yeah. So you would be cutting from the above the highway amounts.
So I guess my first question is, how did it get to a negative balance?
A negative cash reserve?
Sorry, I wrote down a negative balance. So
Well, right now, on the fund report, it shows a negative balance. It technically would be zero because whatever is negative is sitting in Fund 4738 until the end of the year when I move that back over.
Okay.
So technically, it's zero. So it got that way because there's been so many capital needs and vehicles and different development expenditures, plus it's not getting all of the income because 42% goes to the bridges. So we're not getting as much as what we used to, but we've also had a lot of expenditures in it.
This doesn't take into account the fact that emergencies are gonna happen
Correct.
that need to be paid from cum cap.
So we need to take 22% off of 1.119 million. 1,119,000 off that number?
Well, I mean, depending what
Does the-
what cash balance you're trying to get to.
Right, but if we're negative 22%, we have to take it off that number, correct?
You can aim for that, but everything shifts. It all depends on, the formulas are, you take, sometimes it works opposite. So you can start there. For instance, if we take $250,000 away from that, then you'll be at 1%.
Where are we taking that 250?
I was just
You just gave me a
figuring
random number.
numbers to see where
It's
we,
answering my question.
I mean,
That gives us a percent.
we can try to take it from the building improvement and purchase. I mean, maybe we should do the 300,000 from there, because that was for development services, but that's kind of a commissioner thing that they will,
I don't think the commissioners are gonna do anything until the building study is done.
so if we take the 300 out for that piece of it, then we'll be at 7%.
What's the middle part there? 80K Super 1?
80,000 for Superior One, that would be,
Oh, court, okay. Sorry.
that's the
Right.
camera system, yeah.
But that was Superior 2. Superior 2 wanted to match what Superior 1 had.
Should say two. I think you're right.
I thought it was Squiller.
No, it was.
Jessup?
It was Jessup.
Jessup.
And They wanted to match what
Yeah, Jessup
Superior
needs to
1
do
had.
what Squealer does.
Got it, I changed it.
Yes.
That's something.
Just that like kids.
I thought they were, are they not trying to do what Circuit has? I don't know, I changed it, we're good. Moving on,
I know it was Jessup that was that.
okay,
Yeah.
that was just,
And what's the 15,000 for BCC? Or 15,000?
I don't remember. Let's me. All I have is a note written down that says, add, I have possibly moved software expenses to IT, and then I have a note that says added 15,000 to CCD courthouse, but Oh, because they didn't request, they did not input anything in for CCD, but on their 5-year projection, they're wanting 15,000 to seat coat. I think that's supposed to be seal coat. Something parking lot and painting of lines.
Oh, yes, that's at community corrections.
Yeah.
So they estimated 15,000 and they didn't put it in anywhere, so I put it in as a building.
I think it, you know, we need to take care of those parking lots, but I think that's something that we can probably wait on.
Wait very long though, or you're gonna have to put new asphalt down.
Is it that bad?
I mean, it's weathered. If you let it sit out and
Yeah.
you have the sun and you're plowing it in the winter, if you don't seal it, then it just starts chunking up. That was something we need to get quotes on it. I think that was a number just from conversation that was put in there. It wasn't anything solid. Honestly, I don't know that I wanna know what it's gonna cost.
Did we all agree at least to do the 300,000 for development services? That's probably not gonna get done.
Have to remove
Chris will be used to it. We cut that pretty much every year. They've
Yeah, but
promised him forever. We just have to keep cutting it.
But I think I think the commissioners are doing something. And they have lighted funds to be able to do projects or different things like that. So I don't think it's gonna come from CCD. So with that 300 out, then you're at a 7%.
Takes the CCD to 7%?
7% residual, or 7% what?
Estimated cash balance at the end of the year.
With this one, I think that's probably about the best you can do, because I don't see, unless you want to cut out a couple of squad cars, or,
Did we already remove two? I'm
I
trying to.
thought it said 2 squad cars out of the 5 were removed.
It says 5 new vehicles, full upfit, decreased to, what is that? Did we already decrease it from 7 to 5 is, I guess what I'm asking.
Well, look, at the numbers are 444 to 330, so that could be.
Are we,
Let me see if I have.
cut out two.
why did we go from 5 to 3?
I don't think we went from 5 to 3. They always,
Went from 7
That's
to
they always request 5.
Yeah.
Seven going out of fleet, and didn't mean he's decreasing his fleet.
No. For 25, he did 5 vehicles plus 2 transport vans. So we did 7 in 2025.
Which is the standard, because it used to be we did 3 every year, and then we moved it to 5 every year. I don't know, I think that maybe 7% residual in that fund is about all the best you can do. And if
It's
and if
better
it
than
doesn't get that much money
negative.
in there, you just don't do, there's something just
Right.
doesn't get done.
happen? Is that the last department to request, or how do you figure out what doesn't get done?
Which is the biggest emergency, and some of these things are contractual. Isn't the one is a third third payment on something, and,
Eagle View, yeah, I don't know that we can cut that out.
some of
That's
that
something
stuff
that's already done.
has to be done.
So the clerk's Infinity, that one cannot be cut, that has to stay. The Eagle View has to stay. I think the comprehensive plan thing would have to stay.
As far as,
So it's $120,000, that comprehensive rewrite. But Chris says that he will be able to encumber the remainder of what he requested in 25 of 100,000 so that so he'll be able to cover that part. But that doesn't mean we actually have the cash there.
aren't they supposed to cap about now at budget time? Not on here, it just have to be something that came up and they might have to wait.
Supposed to be, we're supposed to be developing a 5-year plan.
Unless it's an emergency repair. It'll have to wait.
Or we'll have to find some place to get the money.
Well, and there's some departments.
Any other funds that have tax rates that we have to?
Yeah. So, I just did an estimate. I'm not gonna take it all out, but the, under the courthouse, that building improvement or purchase, if the full 395 came out, then it would be a 21% cash balance. And, there's money, like, we would use the county general and the lighted dollars that the commissioners have put aside before using the Cume cap dollars for those kinds of things. And that all comes to me. I'm the one that says which fund we need to pay for it from. So I would be able to regulate that part of it.
And that would leave us with a residual balance of what?
21.
Again, that's better than I thought we'd do. I thought 7 was gonna be the best.
But I would prefer if you guys would leave the 95,000 in there, so it's available in case of an emergency. $395,000, we are taking 300,000 away, so there's 95,000 left. So is everybody comfortable with that? Amy? You're not saying anything.
No, I'm,
Do you need a motion or anything?
Okay. So now you need a motion for the first reading. Let me get this moved around here a minute. So you guys normally do a motion, and the ordinance is 2025-OCC-10 for the 2026 county budget with all changes discussed on first reading.
Okay, do we have,
What's the bottom line number there?
That we cut, change?
No, dollar, do you have a total there? Not that we need to know that right now, but.
Of what is going in?
What's the 25 or 26 budget total, bottom line? Is it 10,950,000 or something more?
County general only
Right.
is 27,893,623.
All right, well, I'll make the motion, we approve the 2026 county budget on first reading.
do we have a
As
second?
presented.
I'm sorry,
With ordinance 2025-OCC-10.
That sounds good to me.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the county budget ordinance number 2025-OCC-10 with all items discussed.
1,000.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes,
Leaving in the 200,000.
that's leaving in the 200,000 for now.
Puts us in at 25%.
And 2.5.
But we can, when, in second and third reading on the 24th, after we've had time to think about it more, it could come out or it could change. It just
Yes.
go up.
After I, can get all of my numbers officially in and verify all my stuff.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion is carried 5-1. Do we have anything else to come before us today, Susan?
I hope not.
Okay? Before,
I don't think so.
before we adjourn, I want to thank Susan and Jody and compliment you both on your knowledge here because you were able to come up with a lot of numbers quick, a lot of transfers, a lot of departments, and if you didn't have it in your head, you were able to pull it up quick. And that's, you're both pros at it there, and we thank you very deeply for that, so thank you.
Very late hours that I know you've all put in.
Yeah.
And Amy Prosser, you may have forgotten how to do this, but do we have,
I will make the motion.
okay, and Amy.
I'll second it.
Seconded it, so, all those in favor of aye?
Aye.
Favor of aye. All those in favor, say aye. No opposing, we're done.
You know, that's
Thank
pretty
you.
good, because I said if we weren't done by